Hey, you. Hope you're well. This evening, the topic is your relationship is your fault. 3 ways to be intentional. All right, guys, your relationship is your fault. And I've used the word fault because most of the times when we talk about fault, we have the connotation of it being quite negative. But the word fault also means responsibility. So in other words, I am actually saying your relationship is your responsibility. And I will be giving you 3 ways to be intentional to ensure you achieve the relationship that you so desire. Okay, guys, what we water is what grows. So what we want, what we desire, what we spend our energy on is what will increase, is what will multiply. As soon as you pop on, just drop me an emoji so I know you're there, okay? So before I get into it, I love to define the words. I love to give a definition of the word in which I speak, because then that gives you the premise on which I speak of that word and the context in which I use it. So I'll be giving you the meaning for intentional. And what I have here states that intentional is something that you do deliberately. It is something that you do consciously, and it is something that you do on purpose. So we've got to be intentional in our relationships. We got to be proactive, be actively taking actions to ensure we obtain the relationship which we desire. Okay? So the question is, are you being intentional? Are you taking the steps to ensure that your relationship is what you desire it to be? Okay, so I'll be giving you three ways in which you can be intentional to work towards, to be proactive in your relationship. Okay, guys? And we know female, we don't have to sit around and wait for the other person to do something or to be something. It's about reciprocity, guys. You give as much as you would like to receive. So whatever it is you're desiring from your partner, rather than moan about it all the time, why not show them by doing? Okay? And a disclaimer here, I'm not talking about relationships where you're forced or anything is not legally above board. I'm not talking about those relationships. I'm talking about relationships where you're willingly participating, you're willingly being in that relationship, and you want that relationship to work, but you would like to have your ideal. You would like to increase that relationship to be on the level of those relationships that you desire, the relationship that you aspire to, those role model relationships that you fantasize about. You have to be intentional. You just can't sit around and expect your relationship to happen to you. You have to do something, okay? So 3 ways in which you can be intentional. And the first one I have is making your partner a priority. Yes, guys, making your partner a priority. Because oftentimes, more than not, stresses of life, we get overwhelmed, life gets in the way, and all of a sudden, the partner who was the center of your world becomes on the side, okay? They get kicked to the side, or they just get a demotion. You've demoted them, and that can cause some sort of resentment, and in most cases anger, because your partner no longer feels they fit the position in your life which they started off with. So to avoid that, guys, make your partner a priority. Yes, I do know that the stress... Hi Terry, how are you? I do know that the stresses of life can get in the way. Children comes along, they get in the way. And even stuff like your career, guys, does get in the way. But make your partner a priority. Make a concerted effort to make them a priority, guys. Which then leads on nicely to number 2, which is dating your long-term or short-term partner. So continuously date the person you are with. I did a blog recently where I was talking about it, because I was thinking, why is it that when we're getting into a relationship, hello, sweetie. Why is it when we're getting into a relationship, we're so intentional about taking the person out, putting our best foot forward, but as soon as we hit that comfort zone, everything goes through the window and we no longer date this person? But guys, we need to be spending quality time together, doing things that you both mutually like. What that does, it creates an environment, it facilitates an atmosphere and ambience where you can have intimacy. And once you're having that quality time and intimacy is in the picture, then it makes you connect, guys. You have a connection. And these are the things that you would like to have, okay? So, well, if you're not in a relationship, be intentional about the relationship that you desire. Start making time. Stop being proactive. Stop being intentional. Because the things that we spend most of our time and we spend most of our energy thinking about are the things that we bring about. So the relationship that you desire, whether you're in that relationship yet, make sure you're intentional and you're doing the things that will create that sort of environment to facilitate the relationship that you so desire. But I'm talking about when you're currently in the relationship and you get to that point where you're no longer dating each other, you're not spending quality time with each other. Guys, you don't have to be ostentatious all the time. Simple things, once you're spending quality time, is what matters. It's about spending time and connecting. That's what matters. So the date doesn't have to be weekly. It doesn't have to be all the time, but you have to continuously date your long-term partner to create that spark, to set time aside so you can spend that quality time with each other. Hi, guys. Okay, and the third one, which I think is very important, guys, is about knowing and loving your partner in their love language. What is your partner's love language? Do you know what your partner's love language is? Because what happens, and this is what I notice happens more times than not, is that persons are loving their partner the way they desire to be loved or the way they know how to love. But if you're a person who loves in a way where you love to receive gifts, it's very highly likely that you will give your partner gifts. But it doesn't necessarily mean that this is how your partner loves to be loved. They might just be the person who loves to spend quality time. So the person's way of receiving love is spending quality time, and you're showering them with gifts. Then are you loving them in a way in which they understand? And I see this happen so many times when a person says, but I do this, but I do that, but I do this. But is it what your partner would like to receive in terms of love? So spend the time to get to know what is it that your partner loves, how they receive love, and love them in that language. So love language, there's a lot of details to it, and I will do another topic on about love languages and understanding your love language and your partner's love language. Because if you don't understand what your love language is and what your partner's love language is, you're speaking two absolutely different languages. So no wonder there's a lot of misunderstandings. Hi Simon, how are you? So yes guys, I will recap. So make your partner a priority, as I said before. Spending quality time, not letting life get in the way, not letting the kids get in the way, not letting your career get in the way, but making a concerted effort to spend quality time together. All right. Number 2 was dating your partner, whether that's your long-term partner or short-term. Make sure you're continuously dating. Be proactive in spending quality time together, okay? And as I said, it doesn't have to be anything over the top, but it has to be set aside. You have to be proactive. And the third Yes, and the third is loving your partner in their love language, not the language which you feel best suits them or which you would like to receive. No, you have to find out what their love language is and love them in that way. And the bonus, as usual, is spontaneity, guys. You have to be spontaneous to have the relationship that you so desire, to have the relationship that you so earnestly seek, that you can see in the magazines and all these relationships that picture perfect. You have to be intentional and you have to be spontaneous, guys. Boredom. You can't be in your relationship and it's boring. Really? Boring? No, boredom is not acceptable. The same old, same old, same old. You can actually start finishing each other's sentences because it is so predictable. No, guys, you got to be spontaneous. So spontaneity is a very, very important to keep that flame, to keep that intrigued personality going, so you can be excited about your partner. You have to be excited about your partner to want to spend that quality time with them. Hiya, Diane. So what I'm talking about is being intentional. Your relationship and what your relationship is your fault. It is your fault. And I've also sort of explaining that fault also means responsibility. So your relationship is your responsibility. And I've given 3 ways in which you can be intentional. Because as I stated before, that what you water is what grows. What you give your energy to is what will manifest. So if the relationship that you desire, you have to think about that. Do that. Guys, little things. When was the last time you wrote a love letter to your partner? I know, very old fashioned. But when was the last time you wrote them a text? Open the door. Males, when was the last time you opened the car door? Females, when was the last time you opened a door for your partner? Chivalry isn't dead. Chivalry is still in existence and we should use it, guys. It's only nice when you put a smile on your partner's face because you've done something absolutely nice for no reason. Right? Guys, if you can agree with me, if you agree with what I'm talking about, give me some hearts. Show me some love that you understand what I'm talking about and you are in absolute agreement with me. Okay? So as I said, it's about reciprocity. You have to give as much as you would like to receive. So rather than sitting around and moaning about what your partner isn't doing, how about you using your initiative? What about you taking the initiative to do what is it you'd like to receive? Try that. Try that and see how it works. Exactly, Jude. See how it works. Do what is it you desire. Show the person how to love you by loving them the way in which you expect and would like to be loved. Okay? And as I'm saying, there's not a male or female gender specific sort of thing that you ought to be doing. Be proactive, guys. Be intentional. Be very intentional. Know your desires. Know what is it you want. And as I said, have that conversation to find out what is your love language. What is your love language? And love your partner in their love language, not the way you would like to receive your love. Have I been coherent? Does that make sense? Is what I'm saying clear? And do you understand that? Is there anything from what I'm saying right now that you think about it and see if there's anything you could actually proactively start doing in your relationship to take it to the next level? Not just sit about and moan about it, nag about it, but what is it you can actually do to be proactive? Guys, drop in the comments, what is it you think you could do to make your relationship a little better. Even if it's just one thing that you could proactively take the initiative and to make a concerted effort to do to ensure your relationship is moving to the level and the direction in which you desire it to go. So just drop that in the comments for me. All right, guys, I'm going to be going off, but just before I do that, let me just reiterate here. And what I'm saying is 3 ways to be intentional. And the first one I had was making your partner a priority. Yes. And number 2, date your partner, whether that's a long-term or short-term partner. Make the effort to date them. And number 3 I had was love your partner in their love language, in the language in which they understand, not from your understanding of what you think loving them should be. So you need to sit down and have that conversation about what their love language is and express love in that way. And the bonus was spontaneity. Be spontaneous. Do not sit about and be boring and have this boredom that just shadows over your relationship. Nah, we can't have that. Be proactive. Be spontaneous. Do not become predictable. Nah, you can't afford to do that, okay? Yes, absolutely. All right, guys. And as I said, just simple things like compliments, a little gift here, a little notes there, anything that you know your partner, you know what they like. When was the last time you came home and you brought a treat that you know they like? When was the last time you did something like that? So sometimes before we start pointing the finger at the other, maybe we should reflect and look at ourselves and say, what am I doing here? What initiative have I taken? What concerted effort have I taken to ensure that this relationship has the potential to be the one that I desire it to be? Okay, guys? And I would not be going if I did not tell you about our group. It's Romantic Relationships, and it's here on Facebook, and we would absolutely have you there. So if you're interested, just drop group and question mark in the comments and I will send you the link so you can join us there. We're looking at relationships from all different angles and we're ensuring that we work on ourselves so then we're in a position to be better able to facilitate the relationship that we so desire. Guys, as I said, reciprocity is the name of the game. Give as much as you would like to receive. So your relationship is your fault. It is your responsibility. I've given you 3 ways in which you can be intentional. Guys, be intentional. Be intentional. Go ahead and drop #live for me. #replay if you're on the replay, and if you've made it to the end of this recording, then go ahead and give us a share. I appreciate you. Until next time, be your authentic self. Okay? Bye.